Why can't I hear? I'm sure that sounds pretty well or not.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Sunday Assembly. How are you guys? My name is Maddie and I'm at the moment in East London staring outside my window where people are taking pictures at the snow. So please write in the chat where you are joining us from and if it's snowing there. Hey everybody, hey. So if you are new to Sunday Assembly, let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a secular congregation that celebrates life in any shape and forms. And we have a really lovely motto, which is live better, help often, and wonder more. So you'll hear a lot about these values in today's Sunday Assembly. But if you are new to us, just, familiarize a little bit, look around yourself, look at these lovely faces. If you are new to Zoom as well, there are a couple of lovely features on your right-hand side. On the top, you can see people on a gallery view or just the speakers. So your choice, who you want to stare at, literally. So once we are together, we are going to create a lovely assembly. And in this specific assembly, it's the second in January, second for 2021. And this is what we're going to do together. We are going to dance and sing and listen to some amazing guest speakers. Oh, look at that. People from all over the place. What I'd like to acknowledge, though, is that we as a community accepted a challenge that has been launched by our co-founder 2 weeks ago when we celebrated Sunday Assembly 8th birthday. So Pippa challenged us to improve our year, to improvise our life, and we did it. We had to change our lineup a few days ago. So we're going to start today assembly with a big thank you. First of all, to Stephanie, our amazing producer. She's really keeping us all together, and to our guest speakers for being so generous with their time and with the flexibility that has been required with a few changes going ahead. If you are one of our regulars, the burning questions I'm going to ask you now, actually it's just one burning question, it's going to sound sort of familiar. So this is my burning question. Ready? What's better than one host? 2 hosts. So guys, let me introduce you to our sparkling, amazing, brilliant Ange.
Hello, everybody. It's great to see all of you this morning. We have a great lineup coming up, as Maddie has said. We are poetry themed and we have the fabulous snow outside. If you're anything like me, you are a giant child and very excited by both the snow and the fact that we are going to be doing lots of things about words, including singing. And so coming up next, as you would expect, is our very first song. Everybody, this is for you to join in with. Get your singing heads on and your dancing legs and arms on too, if you want. Okay, over to the song. It's coming up any second now.
There it is. It's not a proper Sunday assembly.
Well, my heart knows better than I know myself, so I'm gonna let it do all the talking. I came across a place in the middle of nowhere with a big black horse and a cherry tree. I felt a little fear upon my back. I said, don't look back, just keep on walking. The big black horse said, look this way. He said, hey lady, will you marry me? Well, I said, no, 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 no. I said, no. home in the early hours, so I stopped it dead for a beat or two. And I caught some cotton, I shouldn't have done it. Now I won't forgive me after all these years. So send it to a place in the middle of nowhere with a big black horse and a cherry tree. Now it won't come back cause it's all so happy, and now I got a haul for the world to see, yeah. I said no, 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 no. I said no, 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 no. I said no, no, you're not the one for me. You're not the one for me. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, no. You're not the one for me. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, no. Cause my heart's forsaken me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. No, 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 no. No, no. Cause my heart's forsaken me.
And this was brilliant. Thank you so, so much. Well, we kept saying no, but it was a giant yes, please. Amazing song, amazing performance. And now, if you're a regular, you really, really know what's coming up, do you? You do know. If you're new, get ready. So another burning question for you. What's better than one song? Let me hear you. Yes, it's 2 songs. Let's go for the second one. Yay!
Saying I love you is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I want you not to say, but if you only knew how easy it would be to show me how you feel. More than words is all you have to do to make it real. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, 'cause I'd already know. What would you do if my heart was torn in two? More than words to show you feel that your love for me is real. What would you say if I took those words away? Then you couldn't make things new just by saying I love you. La di da di da di da da da. More than words. La di da da di da di da da da. More than words. Now that I've tried to talk to you and make you understand, all you have to do is close your eyes and just reach out your hand and touch me. Hold me close, don't ever let me go. More than words is all I ever needed you to show. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, I'd already know. What would you do if my heart was torn in two? More than words to show you feel that your love for me is real. What would you say if I took those words away? Then you couldn't make things new just by saying I love you. La di da da di da di da da da. More than words. La di da da di da di da da da. More than words.
Whoa, fantastic. Give it up for Steph, Tanya and Stu and the amazing Sunday Assembly Band. That was fabulous. What a great way to start the day. I think everybody, just give a big hand wave to them all out there. So we've started on a high and we've got more wonderful stuff to come. Today's assembly has a poetry theme, as I think we all know, but the reason for that is tomorrow is Burns Night in Scotland and all around the place. And for those of you who don't know what Burns Night is, Maddie, we were having a chat about this. Well, it is a celebration of the life and poetry of Robert Burns, or Robbie Burns, as we know him in Scotland. I am a very bad Scottish person because I can't do an accent. Otherwise, I might try and recite some poetry. We will save you from that. But on Burns Night, we do eat some special food. We eat a haggis. There are no veggie haggises in sight anywhere, and neeps and tatties, and we have a little dram of whiskey. So that's the essence of Burns Night. But what we're going to be talking about poetry today and what words really mean, what poetry can bring to people and lives, and how we can engage with those and how they fit with identity as well, because that's very much about what Burns Night means in Scotland, a cultural identity. Yeah, so does that help at all, Maddie?
Yes, it does. I'm still quite curious about the food you mentioned. A, I can't pronounce it. B, I can't even imagine it. So if anybody knows of any online events for tomorrow, Burns Night, please post them either on the Sunday Assembly social media. I think we have a social group, but also the poetry group, wherever you want to post it, so we can eventually, I don't know, even meet up tomorrow at some point in a less structured way, so I can see what kind of food you guys would eat.
So I've got like Abby in Newcastle saying that she's got some veggie haggises up in Newcastle. If you could get it here for tomorrow, that would be awesome. Send it anyway.
Yes,
lots
please.
of things there, lots of people from all over the place telling us about their snow as well. Keep those coming. It's beginning to settle here in Tottenham, so for the afterwards. And I'm sorry if you haven't got it, we will blow it your way. So on with the events of today. So our first speaker today, Maddie, is going to introduce for us.
Yes, thank you so much. And so this is a real honor. We mentioned before that we had to change something, and we are so lucky to have with us today this amazing poet. He's going to introduce himself. So what I'm going to do in really a quick way. Thank you so much for this, for being with us, and thank you so much for your time and what you're going to share with us. The person I'm going to introduce to you guys is Nick Makoha. He is with us, and I'm so super excited. I can't say anything else. And so over to you, Nick. Welcome to Sunday Assembly. Ooh, okay. Nick is almost ready for us. And there he is. Now we can see something about him, and over to Nick. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, sorry about that. Just somebody came to my house, the wrong number. But yeah, I'm Nick. I'm a poet. You might just see my son calling in the background there. I want to say welcome. I am in South London, Croydon, and like many of you, it is snowing. I just want to give a minute of silence, and I'm going to use the song that we just had, Extreme, More Than Words. I'm going to be talking to you about poetry and the importance of language in our life. But before we kind of do that, let's just cleanse our minds to understand how important language is. I'll probably do it just for about 30 seconds, but just gather yourself. Many things have happened. We've shared 2 songs, we've introduced ourselves, we've stated where we are in the world. But just for 30 seconds, give time for yourself. In that 30 seconds, I'll say nothing, and then I'll begin. So, the great poet T.S. Eliot said, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go." So I want to take you, with the little time I have with you today, on a journey. And I want to take you on my journey of poetry. So I want to ask you a question. I ask loads of questions. It's how I get to understand the world. How did language enter your life? When you think about it, we kind of take that for granted. We assume in our adult bodies that language was always there. But in many ways, language created the word. The first cry you uttered was language. It was you trying to engage, probably with a nurse, probably with your mother or father, probably with a little sister, that utterance, that gesture. And what does language do? Language creates the world. The first time you said mother or father, you were calling out to someone that you love, or they were calling you out by your name. I realized, yesterday, Larry King died. And I realized I'm from Uganda originally, it's where I was born. But there was a time of my life when I lived in Kenya, and my connection to what I would call, for want of a better word, the outside world was Larry King, CNN, watching him do his interviews. It felt like how I would connect with, I guess, the world at large. And I realized what I was holding on to was language. And I wonder, what were the languages? Was it comics that language spoke to you through? Was it that music, like that song by Extreme? Was it jokes that you told your friends? If Mr. Slideman could change to the next slide for me. So for me, what I am is a poet. If you go to the first collection, hello, are you there?
Yeah, it should be showing the first collection now.
Should be showing. All right, perfect. All right, so the magic of technology. So this collection is really about me. But when I was a young poet, initially I wasn't writing about Uganda. I was living here. So I'd tell you a little story about how language came into my life. When I was born, I spoke other languages. I didn't speak English as my first language. I spoke Luganda, I spoke Samia, I spoke Swahili, and I spoke English. So I had 4 languages. The world came to me through 4 languages, and each one had their poetic slice. But I had to leave my country because I come from Uganda, as you might know. It's only been led really by dictators. And the dictator at the time when I had to leave, or when my mom kind of pulled me out of the country, was Dd Amin. And when I came here, my mom kind of protected me from that world. I kind of lost my use of those languages because there were no Ugandans to talk to actively, bar my mother who spoke to me in English. And the world out there, it's not the common language in Peckham where we were living. So Uganda kind of, for want of a better word, I wouldn't say erased, but went to the back of my mind. And I wonder if other people in the group, there are other places that you're from, that you've lived in, and like that. So T.S. Eliot, the person I just quoted at the beginning, he was in a kind of similar vein, a person who was caught between 2 worlds. He's an American who eventually came and lived here in England. And in fact, he even got an English passport and became more English. If you hear how T.S. Eliot sounded when he was, say, 17, and you hear how he sounded when he was in his 40s and 50s, it's a totally different transformation. So something I noticed when I was a young poet was when I go back to Uganda, I'm not Ugandan enough. There's a change they see in me. When I'm here in England, I'm not English enough. And there was I would say, for want of a better word, a confusion, a shame, maybe, an embarrassment. I'm not sure how to articulate it, but I just felt out of place. And it made it difficult for me to write a book like this. But I had a realization at a workshop where we were studying T.S. Eliot. And in that realization, T.S. Eliot described himself as a metic, or a resident alien. You know, it's when you have the rights of the place. So I have the right to be here, but I don't feel like I have the full rights of citizenship. And when I realized this, I realized that I was caught between two places in that kind of liminal space. It gave me kind of permission to kind of talk about my Ugandan self and my English self, but with more confidence, with more authority. I had to claim them. And what I realized is that there was an embarrassment of claiming these spaces because I felt I didn't have a right. So I'm going to share with you the poem that came out of eventually kind of, I guess, understanding myself. And I guess what language is ultimately is a way of understanding ourselves, a way of holding emotion, a way of expressing feelings, a way of expressing philosophies, and many things. So language does many things. It doesn't just signal what we're trying to say, it does many more things. So with this poem, what I wanted to do is I realized that people don't really often talk about Uganda, and when they do, they usually talk about it through our dictators, you know, so Idi Amin, you know, put X here, all our presidents have been dictators. And what usually that does, it robs people of the understanding of the people of that country. So, you know, if we, you know, look at America, for example, they have Trump. We can't just assume that every person in America is like Trump. The country is more nuanced than that. And what I wanted to do, once I realized, you know, rather than being kind of in my shallow and scared to talk about Uganda, once I realized that I gave myself that permission, I thought, you know what, I know how to make people understand Uganda. I can make you understand the River Nile. Now, why the River Nile? The River Nile, one of its sources is in Uganda. Then I can make you understand my people. So I'm going to quickly share with you a poem, and I hope you get a sense of that metic feel, that sense of a person who's here who belongs somewhere else, or somebody who's somewhere else who belongs here through a river. So this is Kingdom of Gravity. And it came to me from this first line. This first line was the only thing I had. It was the thread. And then I'm literally, when I remember writing it, I was in Pittsburgh in a writing retreat called Cave Canem. And every line, I was up about maybe 4 a.m. and I kept thinking I would say the line and then another line would come. I'd say that line and I'll repeat it, and it almost came out like a song. So it goes like this. We are not Alexander, who conquered worlds, giving them new tongues, but we share a story of a river, unbuckling at its shore, awakened by a night's cold, hard rain, staring at the face of the Nile as it reminds you that you are a hawk, silencing the voice of a midnight universe. Now, what makes a man name a city after himself? Asking bricks to be bones, asking the wind to breathe like the lungs of a night, asking the nights to come close to you, to speak to you as a tribe, asking the tribe to sleep, asking sleep to loosen language. Come close to me. Can you not see that I'm in search of fire, the unshapen song of light? In my mouth, a flame, spoken to me by the oracle. Like others, I was in search of a forest, a place to call home. But what can I tell you about the kingdom, about having the world at your feet? When you have seen all of Earth's boundaries, you will search for them in rivers. You will look for them in streams. And when the river looks back at you, how can you be sure that nothing is lost? Thank you. So if we could just move to the next slide. So if Kingdom of Gravity kind of talks about a period of time of my life, kind of 71 to 79, not my life, but the Idi Amin regime. But then what I wanted to do, and that kind of works over like 7 to 8 years. But then my next work was a play that I started writing, and that was called The Dark. And it was how my mom, at the day my mom smuggled me out. So if you take those 7 to 8 years, in 1979, my mom smuggled me out because Uganda was crumbling. If you change the slide, please. Uganda was crumbling, and I tell this kind of poetic retelling. And once again, I'm using language to, or poetry particularly, but through a kind of theatrical lens, to tell how my mother, when she was studying here, ran back to Uganda to kind of smuggle me out of the country. It was done as a two-hander. And the question I want to ask you, even though I'm talking about myself, but I guess I'm using me as a conduit for yourself, is what is your story? A lot of times we don't really understand the importance of our story because we are living our lives. So to us, it seems mundane. But the observation of other people's lives is interesting. You know, who is or who was your mother? You know, where is she from? You know, what languages do you speak? You know, what do your parents tell you about your ancestors? I'm going to just kind of leave you again for 20 seconds. Just kind of think about those questions, because inside of those questions is a story.
Thank you.
Still going.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So if we go to the next slide. Now, a lot of times when we relate to language, we think that there's a certain way to speak, to talk. But there's this great TED talk that I saw the other day, and if I can, I'm going to try and throw it to you in the link. But it's the main quote that comes out of it that you need is: give yourself permission to be creative, to be the fool. So we're not trying to say the best things in the best way. What we're trying to do is to be authentic. And actually what makes great stories is the authenticity. The things that might embarrass us, the things that might show our love for something, the things that might show our vulnerability for something, the things that might show our need. And so I guess, you know, a good example of that is the wisdom of a young poet at Biden's inauguration. So the words weren't spectacular. They were words we've probably heard time and time again. But the sense of the occasion, the poise of the young poet, you know, give a sense of it. So language doesn't have to be spectacular to be moving. It has to be authentic. Yeah. It has to be, there was a risk there, you know, because who are you to be telling us, you know, but she was probably the most, you know, wisdom coming out of that young mouth. So that's just to give you an example. I don't have the link, but so this is something I've been working on, this kind of metic theory, but I'm going to leave you shortly. But what I'd like you to do is to start using your senses more. That is my request through language. So we use them all the time. We compartmentalize them. So touch, taste, feel, hear. We have other senses, but really it's all one sense. It's us, the body, or this sense of yourself, or whatever you call the self, trying to engage with the outside world. You know, so we say that we're seeing with our eyes, but also with our ears. I don't know if you just heard the siren going outside my window, but that is also a seeing, the sounds that you can pick up. When you touch the world, you're probably sitting in a chair or lounged up in your bed, or, you know, cuddling the person you love. That is also a seeing. There are memories that you have of an experience. That is also a seeing, a feeling, a hearing. And really what that is, it's a musicality. In the same way that music works, words work that way. So words are a musicality. If you're listening to my voice does not sound like yours, even though you might even be saying some of the same words as me. So what words do, they have this ability to move us, to take us to different places. I just recently, in that poem I read to you, took you to Uganda. I took you to the River Nile. I took you to the first line, "We are not Alexander." I took you to Egypt, you know, because Alexander conquered a lot of the known world. And I did that through language. I did that through not just language, I did it through your imagination. So somehow your imagination connected with my words. And that is the power of language. It is a connector, it's a tool when used for good. I'm going to leave you with this. You can go to the next slide just as a, I guess, I don't know, a plug, but if you want to know more kind of the things I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is the Metic experience. And I did a paper on it, a manifesto. So all the things I'm trying to talk about, I'm trying to composite it into a manifesto as I'm writing my second collection. But what I'll leave you with, which I won't share with you now because, you know, time is creeping up on us, but I'll leave you with 2 links of 2 poems that would be useful to just kind of share with you. So one of them is called Codex 9, and I'll just put that in the link for you. And you know, it's basically talking about how language, or my story, just like you have a story, you know, that I was trying to get you to open up to, moved me around the world. And then the second one is, you know, because we are in strange times, I'm talking to you from a computer screen. I'm trying to reach out to you through a computer screen. The second one is something I did for some pubs, and then we kind of missed that social interaction. And that's one of the magical things that language does. It allows us to exist around each other through special social interactions. So I just put those links in the chat for you. If I can find the chat, there you are. Here we go. I think I have about a minute left. I don't want to keep you too long. And I just want to leave you with a question. So my question is, how have you been using language? And how could you use it differently such that we understand not just you, but the world more? How have you been using language, or poetry particularly? And how could you use it differently such that we could understand you and the world more? I want to thank you for giving me your time. I want to thank you and hope that you are safe. And I want to thank you for allowing me to use language to connect with you. I've been Nick Makoha, and I'll keep being him until I die. Thank you. Bye.
Wow, thank you, Nick. Thank you so much. Can we just give a big Sunday Assembly thanks to Nick for being here and sharing all of that. There was so much in there to think about. Really, for me, those things about how, you know, actually putting yourself out there with words and using your senses to express yourselves and playing with words and how we use language is really, really interesting. And we're going to go on another journey now with our community poet, Robin, who has been involved with our Lively Poets Society, but is also a poet in his own right. He was last at Sunday Assembly just over a year, or just under a year ago, I think. So it's fantastic to welcome him back to share his works with us today. Over to Robin.
Hello. Yeah, I'm going to do some poems about how we change words. So we're going to start off with a poem about etymology, so the history of words. 40% of the words in this poem derive from the same root, were, meaning to twist or turn, from Proto-Indo-European. So it's called Twisting My Words. I love how the wriggling of words wryly observes that vermin, worms, and universe all hold worth, that words warp, converted by conversation's weird wrinkles, some stalwart, some subverted by their reverberations, others inverting in self-wrapping vermicular rhapsody, versions becoming both the vertebrae and vertex of languages, from ribaldry, prosaic or perverted prose to a vortex of versatile verse. So, what vertigo of words makes you worry when they means one person? And now with the second poem, I'm going to continue that theme of senses and also like the linguistics of sense, because it's kind of weird how we have so many words for things you can see and so few words for things you can feel. And this poem is about one of the additional senses, proprioception, your sense of position and poise and movement. I wish there were a shorter word for proprioception. that inner sense of your own poise, how sinews hold your weight, how bone relates to bone. I wish the word sounded more casual, so you could say conversationally, I see a flower, I smell a flower, I procept unslouching closer. Not merely knowing that I move, but how the gravity of beauty feels. I wish there were a word for it other than feel. Feel is all fingertips and surface, and nothing of what your marrow knows. I wish we had words for lungs, not based on dissection, but on breath, on the tightness of despair, on the shattering exaltation where the universe is leaking into your core. I used to think it strange that for most of human history, we have had no word for green. Yet here we are, still, piecing together, balanced on my heels, like I didn't need to know 50 types of unstable before I could talk, learning the grades between walking and falling through every bruise in between. I wish there were a shorter word for proprioception, so that we would remember the hollowness of skin, so that I would not have to explain again the space between drag queen and woman, how you can look contorted and hunched, but know yourself upright, so we could share the shape of our souls. Thank you.
Whoa, that was so good. Oh, thank you so much, Robin. I'm really I want to listen back to that later because there's just so much in it to pull out and think about and do. And I think so far we've been given such a lot to think about in this assembly, and words are what we use all of the time to express ourselves. We also use our body language and all the other things there. And so we are going to take a minute now just to reflect on everything that's going on in our lives and the things that we've heard in the assembly today, and how we can connect with ourselves and with others with words. So we will just have a few. Okay, and everybody, welcome back to our next section of the assembly. So we are carrying on with this poetry theme of words and how words can move us and help us in also it's quite often quite difficult times. And we have coming up next a guest artist who also has been doing a lot of playing with words. I met Dd at another online event last week, and so I know that what's coming up now is something a little bit special. So I'm very pleased to introduce to everyone Dd Regalo.
Hey, thanks, Ange. Really appreciate it. It's really nice to be here today with everyone. Big shout out to Nick Makoha and Robin there for sharing, their words. I think that was really special, and I know I felt a lot of vibes and energy coming from these waves right now happening. So yeah, I'm Dd Regalo. I'm a visual artist and poet from Calgary in Canada, now living in London for like the last 5 years. And it's been really important to be in like a central city in the world, which has so much expression, so many artists coming together in such a mixing pot. And I think the combination of those identities from all over the world happening create something really special. So I want to start off by talking about a piece that I recently painted in Shoreditch on Drisdale Street, which is a mural, but I do street poetry. And so I painted a piece that I wrote during lockdown. And I'm just going to show you a quick video that was made by Pablo Aravina, who's a filmmaker from Canada as well that I met out here. He does works for the CBC, which is like our Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is like the BBC. So I'm just going to try to share my screen here, see if this works here. And I'm just going to play a minute clip so you know the context here. 2 secs. Oh, I'm just going to try to do that. All right, we sharing? Perfect. I hope they stop. I hope. Oh, 2 secs. Going back. There we go. We'll bring it back. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Swipe in. There we go. I hope they stop and read it. And I hope for like that 20 or 30 seconds, they feel it. They feel the words, they feel the message, they feel the energy, they feel the light in the background and the colors I've chosen. And then that they walk away feeling better.
Just walking past just now and seeing that poem, honestly, it lifted my spirit. It made me feel so happy because I've been going through a real tough time myself. You know, I'm not going to go into that. But honestly, just seeing that, I actually took a photograph and I'm going to hold them words with me all day because it's really lifted me up.
Love as a soft whisper, like a rippling wave through an ocean of hearts, where dreams are free and wildflowers grow, even in the shadows where beauty shines. Hope, like neon lights, glowing through the endless night, and forever is this moment. All right, back. So that's the piece that I painted in Drisdale Street, and I wrote it during lockdown. And I just wanted to share a little bit about like kind of my inspiration and what I was trying to like kind of express in the piece. The name of it is called Love Letters to the Street. Maybe you feel it too. And I mean, for me, like we're talking about words in this whole talk. Words are a way of expression. It's a way of showing our true self. And like Nick was saying, I think authenticity as well is so important in that. And that's how we connect. That's how you feel connection with other people. I think honesty and vulnerability especially are important ways to create that bridge between people. There's a poem by a Japanese poet, Mayuzumi Madoka, that I read kind of, you know, at the beginning of lockdown, and it really connected with me. And he goes, I want to see you and to meet you, stepping on the thin ice. And it's a haiku. And to me, it was about connection. It was about stepping out. And that thin ice is that vulnerability, that putting ourselves out there without the mask or without, you know, the makeup and all the material items. And so for me, this piece was about that. It was about, you know, we usually see each other at a bar or where, you know, wherever it is, at the theater, at the show, where we're doing all these things and we're interacting in these social settings. But without that there, during the last year, we've been stripped away to a screen, which is 2D flat, and sometimes inviting ourselves into, you know, rooms that we've never seen before with personal items. And I think it takes away a layer and creates this channel, an open route, if you will, of really kind of open discussion where we can really connect and go deeper than maybe we were before. So I really wanted to talk about that in the piece. And so the first part is split into like how we talk about love. I say, you know, love as a rippling wave through an ocean of hearts. And it's really about, you know, the digital wave that we've created. And so we're, you know, this connected ocean of people feeling and transferring. And now it's turned from the physical realm. Whereas, you know, you might be able to crawl across some thin ice. Now we're sending a wave, and maybe that touch can ripple out and reach more people and interact. And those waves can, you know, crescendo and get big, or they can go down together as well. And so, especially in the second part, I wanted to talk about the just kind of the obstacle to that, and seeing that forever is this moment. We are constantly in an infinite wave of now. These are now moments. The future will be now moments. The past was now moments, and we're always here, and we're always open to making that wave. So I think the way we approach each and every moment is the way we're going to feel good and move forward. And so that was also about the last part of the poem. I think I'm done now. It's been a real pleasure sharing my work with you. And I hope that you can walk away with that space and maybe some of that message as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Dd. That was really, really great. I don't know about you guys, but this assembly is, I know the title is Words That Move Us, but there's something between words and how our bodies are into words, and our souls and our hearts, we're all ones. And I'm really, really grateful for today's speakers, actually the three of them. Really amazing, really generous with their authenticity, and even through Zoom, I think we can feel their presence, their warmth, and their generosity. So thank you very much on behalf of the whole community. Really, thank you. Guys, by the way, at the end of the assembly, don't leave after the song, please, unless you have to, of course, because we are going to set up some breakout rooms. One of them would be for new timers. So you want to rename yourself, put the number 1 where your name is, so we can send you into a breakout room and we can welcome you properly. But on the other hand, if you would like to have a chat and ask a few questions to Dd and Robin, please put your name and the number 2 when you rename yourself on Zoom. And we're going to, in a way, sort of help you joining them into a breakout room with them. I'm really looking forward to it. So what's happening now, guys? So if you're a regular, you know that. If you're new to Sunday Assembly, again, welcome. You will find out from now on, listening to our next guest, that Sunday Assembly doesn't happen just on Sundays. Well, this slide also tells you that we are Sunday Assembly London, but Sunday Assembly is not all not just in London. There are quite a few assemblies all over the world happening in different time zones, of course, and you can really join all of them and participate and share all of the vibes from Sunday Assembly. But Sunday Assembly is a lot also behind the scene on Sundays. So right now, I'd like to thank you, all of the volunteers who are working behind the scenes. So Matt, who's kindly supporting us with the PowerPoint slides, or the moderators who are keeping an eye on what's happening, you know, in the chat and everywhere, in terms for us to feel safe in sharing, you know, in this, you know, safe space, which is Sunday Assembly. But then all of the volunteers who are also running a lot of activities really during the week, during the month. I think quite a few of us have felt connecting during the, you know, several lockdowns we're experiencing so far, because of the other activities that are happening during the weeks. So I'm now inviting Annie to share with us the notices in order for us to know what's happening in the community other than on Sundays. Annie, over to you.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Yeah, there's so much going on. I can't wait to tell you. So I'll just jump straight in there. So we have a lot to explore, hitting back on a word that Nick used, which I really liked. And we can do that together and through the power of our volunteers, as Maddie mentioned, who run so much of our activities beyond today. It's just incredible. So if you are short of things to do, which I imagine in a lockdown situation, that might be the situation, that might be your circumstance, then no need to worry, because we have loads of things lined up. So the first thing is social media, though, in a way that you can connect with us and what we do. So we are on every platform you can imagine. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Meetup, you name it, we're on it. So there's no reason why you should feel out of the loop, because you can connect with us in all of these different ways. So I want to mention first up, before I go into the beautiful slides that we have prepared, that one of our very own volunteers, Ange, who's also hosting today, has started something new, and she's sharing it with us and you too, because if you want to wake up at 8 a.m. On Monday morning, you can like get involved with Ange, shake up your day, dance the morning away for half an hour, and make a massive impression on the rest of your day in a positive way. So there are definitely lots of details on that, and I'll pop them in the chat after I speak. So the other things that are coming up on Monday in the evening, it is going to be the choir rehearsal. So if you want to sing, get involved, you know, get those vocal cords all warmed up, please do join in. It's going to be so much fun, and you can do so from 7:30 on Monday. On Tuesday, we have Article Club. So if you want to get discussing on some of the deeper things in like reading and words, then please do come to Article Club. And then moving forward to Wednesday, well, you can kind of kick back, relax maybe a little bit, but not before you share some words and thoughts about Sunday Assembly or anything really at our chat, check in and catch up at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And then we go into Saturday with Board Game Club with Mitski, and this is fun. This is so much fun. I went to it and it was like, I just realized how much I miss board games. So please do go to that as well. That starts at 2 o'clock on Saturday, so that's pretty cool. And then something that is not on our notices is this thing called Social Distancing Dance Party, which is 4 hours of extreme dance fun and just frolics. It's brilliant. So if you want to go to a nightclub on Saturday, but in the comfort of your own home, and then go to bed afterwards with no journey to take, which technically is the legal way to do it right now, then please do get involved with Social Distancing Dance Party, which is hosted by DJ Ian Joliet. And all of these people, incredibly, are or have been volunteers for Sunday Assembly. And I just think that's incredible, because that means that we have so much connection that Sunday Assembly offers to you and keeps us connected with each other, and hopefully makes life a little bit more fun. So fingers crossed. And before I finish, which I promise I will be finishing soon, I also wanted to give you an opportunity to get involved with our Poet Society. Now, you don't have to be a poet for this. We just want your ideas and thoughts and your advice, really. So please do visit a link again that I'll share in the chat. We're asking 3 questions. Please do feel free to share your answers and your thoughts about these things. You know, for instance, about time of day, maybe we could have the event. And for instance, if we had a workshop, what would you want to be involved in that? Like, what things might interest you, ideas you might have? We're definitely looking for people with experience of interviewing. So like if you've been a journalist or something like that, and you can interview some poets for us, that would be amazing. And we would love to know who you are. So there's a lot there. And it's all thanks to our volunteers who absolutely contribute so much to Sunday Assembly and make everything a little bit more fun. And now I'll send it over to Jenny. So hi, Jenny.
Hi everybody, good morning. I hope you're all having a lovely time. I have got the joyful job today of passing around the virtual collection bucket. Don't know if anybody actually remembers really long ago in Conway Hall when we used to physically pass it around or come to you with the credit card machine. Can't do that anymore, sadly, but one day we will get back there. So Sunday Assembly is free. We're really committed to this as we want the community to be open to everybody, but that does mean that we rely on donations to cover all of our costs, and we are a registered charity. So when you donate, you can be sure that your money is going towards furthering our charitable aims and keeping this fantastic community going. We do understand that times are quite hard for lots of people, so there's no pressure to give if it's difficult for you at the moment. But if you can, then there are some suggested amounts which should be on your screen at the moment. We'd love it if you could give, say, £5 or £10 if you're on a low or average income, or £20 would be amazing if you are a bit more comfortably off at the moment. There are two main ways you can give. First one is by visiting our website using the link that's just there, and we will make sure that is posted in the chat as well. So sundayassembly.london.com/donate, and you can use your credit or debit card to give there. And the second way to give is by text message. So again, you've got that information on your screen. So you're going to text, the number you're texting is 70085. And what you're going to write in that message is it must be capital letters because it is case sensitive. You're going to write S.A. Jan and then a space and then a number. I think that can be any number up to 20. And that number is how much you will give in pounds. So you've got the example on the screen there. S.A. Jan 5 will cause you to donate £5. A little tip, two top tips. One from my personal experience is that if you are donating by text and you are on say a pay-as-you-go or a bundle type thing rather than a contract, you just need to make sure that you've got your auto top-up set to work, or that you've got some credit on there, because the money will be taken from your phone bill. So you might get a failure message if you are not able to kind of permit that to come out of your phone bill. So do double check that, or use the website if you find it easier. The other thing to say is that if you don't want to receive any marketing from us, then you should use the text at the bottom of the screen there, including the words no info, which will help you to opt out. And finally, that if you are asked whether you'd like to give gift aid, please say yes if you're a taxpayer, because that means we get 25% extra and it doesn't cost you anything. So please do that. So that's all great. I really hope you're able to give us something today. While you are grabbing your phones, and just to give you an extra second to keep that information on the screen, I have prepared a short haiku in celebration of today's poetry theme, and I will finish with that. It's on the theme of fundraising. Here we go. Please donate so that we can all live better. Help! Often wonder more. Thanks, everyone. Back over to Ange.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you, Jenny. That was like, I feel like we've had 2 haikus today. There's a thing going on there. So thank you. And thank you to Annie as well for updating us on what's going on in the community. We are beginning to reach the end of today's assembly, but don't go anywhere, because we do have one more song. This song is a dance along song. And while we're doing this song, we are going to be spotlighting some of your fabulous moves. So we want to see as fabulous as you can, even if you're sitting down like I am, all the dancing can happen. Stay around afterwards, because we'll be back.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hands, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead as I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I love your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, yeah. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my God, I see you walking by. Take my hands, my dear, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. But you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh.
Maddie, we have some fabulous music there as well. Thank you for all of the dancing. Thank you, everybody, so much. That was great. Someone says, I hope the dog hasn't eaten Tanya. Tanya did pop up on the screen. So to everybody who's joined us today, whether you are here for the first time, whether you've been coming for years and years and years, we thank you all. You brought some great energy to us today. We have loved seeing all of your faces, the dancing, your comments in the chat. So and thank you to all our wonderful speakers today. You've made it brilliant. Thank you so much. So that's goodbye from me and over to Maddie.
Well, and I think I owe you a big thank you for being your sparkling self. We look forward tomorrow morning on a Monday morning to dance with you. And now, guys, I hope you are ready to rename yourself, to stay with us and chat if you would like to gather together as new timers in the first breakout room. We're going to help you transition into that breakout room. Otherwise, number 2 for chatting with Robin and Dd, or stay with us and we're going to have a lovely chat, you know, in the main room. Yeah, that's all, I think. And back to you. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, thank you. Right, we're on to the breakout rooms. Thank you, everyone, for coming. If you're staying around, we will chat with you in a minute.